Can they hear you do that?
No.
Well, our new camera.
It's that time again.
Thank God.
Praise the Lord. ThinkingRealEstate.com.
Oh. Well, here we are.
Yeah.
So what is today? The 13th?
Today is Thursday.
Thursday the 13th.
That's why you're here.
You know, it seems
And not
like
out.
September's buzzing by
Yeah.
a little fast. So
Summer.
I have Jackie with me today.
Jackie's here.
This is kind of becoming a rotating chair. Who knows who's going to land in it?
Yes.
So if you have any questions, you can call 787-3397.
Sure.
And you know, Jackie's our short sale expert, but that doesn't mean that's what we're going to talk about.
Right.
She's a little nervous because I haven't told her.
No, she's not nervous.
She called me at about 10:30 last night. I guess you're going on the radio tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, I was trying to get Pat Birch from the city in to talk about all our new ordinances that are being, you know, cleaned up and how does that affect value. I thought
Right.
that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll have to save that for another day.
He was busy?
He's busy. Even
I can't imagine.
I couldn't get him to.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty busy when the...
when his boss, one of
Yes.
his boss, how would you like to have 7 bosses?
I'll pass on.
One's bad enough,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yes.
Who would want that job? I'm not sure, but anyhow, I certainly wouldn't want to be a city manager. Although the current council is very nice to work with, so I'm sure he's like in heaven.
We'll have to ask him if he ever shows up.
Has he been?
Maybe that's why he's not here.
Have you? Aren't you doing political people, or is Mark doing political people on certain days of the week or something?
Yeah.
Have you had Pat in?
No.
Oh.
Why, is he running for public office?
No. I just thought, you know, he's a bucket of knowledge.
Bucket of
We
knowledge.
did. We talked to him at the candidate forum.
Oh, did you?
He was
Yeah.
on the news. If you were listening yesterday, you would have heard that.
You weren't
I'm
in your
sorry.
car very much yesterday.
No, you know what? I tried live
To get you
streaming.
like a headset.
I tried live
that you can
streaming.
carry with you.
Mark, I tried live streaming,
Okay.
and something happened where I cannot cannot get your radio station
No.
on my computer.
Must be something wrong with your computer.
Well,
But that's
believe me, that's a
definitely true.
99% chance.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not blaming you guys at all on that one. But yeah, I'm trying to get in the habit of live streaming because that's where in the morning I'm in my office because people don't want to look at real estate, nor do they want their houses shown in the morning.
Oh, well,
Typically.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that's when, I mean, the appointments typically start. What do you say, Jackie?
You could have a
Lunches.
radio in your office. You could.
That's so
That's-
old-fashioned.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's a little old fashioned.
Oh, well, jeez. Okay.
Question. Somebody better call with a question. 787-3397.
Little transistor?
Yeah, I don't know. That
Okay.
is old fashioned. So
Yeah, we couldn't be old-fashioned, could we?
yeah. So I did get an email question about what are someone's looking to buy a house, and they wanted to know what kind of contingencies they should put in their purchase agreement.
Don't put any.
Just make it a clean offer.
Yeah.
Just buy it, no contingencies. That would be, that would
Sellers
be a
would love
seller's.
that.
Yeah,
That
would
would
be
be
a
too
seller's.
easy?
Yeah. Do you know what would happen after the closing? Probably
Lawsuits.
a lawsuit.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, one of the I think, and Jackie can help me with this one, is a contingency based on the appraised value of the house.
Oh, definitely. And we actually have in our purchase agreements that it has to be done by a specific appraiser. Well, not specific appraiser, but appraiser from Jackson County. So it's somebody that knows the area. So
And it's often that appraisals don't come in right now because the market's on an upswing. So the appraisals are always behind because they have to use sales from the past.
So,
We had one we're trying to get closed right now, 120,000. The appraisal came in at 104. However, that particular appraiser made a few mistakes in the appraisal. So now what happens is that has to be sent back to the appraiser. There's an appraiser board or something that reviews this if
That's
the
great.
lender thinks it was done wrong. And this one was. And then, of course, I gave them some comparables, which actually the lowest comp was 117, and all the other ones were 125 or more. So there's no reason the value of that property shouldn't have come in at or above the purchase price.
What was the screw up?
The appraiser always gets a copy of the purchase agreement, and the appraiser did not read past the first page or couldn't see the writing where the purchase price was 120. The original offer was 104. There were multiple offers on this property, which is becoming quite common.
Well, why should the appraiser know what the offers were?
No, but they have the final purchase agreement, and
Yeah.
in the final purchase agreement it states the final purchase price.
Yeah.
And in fact, because we're on an uptick, I put purchase price to be 120 because of multiple offers, so that the appraiser would know that there were multiple offers on this particular property.
Okay. Yeah,
But-
he appraised it at 104.
Because they didn't read on. And then they used foreclosures. They used 3 comparables that were foreclosures. When
Okay.
there were plenty of comparables out there that were not foreclosures.
We don't need to do that in this market anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Are
So,
you taking calls?
absolutely.
Good morning.
Yes, my question is on real estate, but I just want to tell Laura that this is Mr. Du Bois, and I got your message.
Well, good. I'm glad to know you listen to the radio station, too.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Who knew?
He's such a nice guy. Anyhow,
Was that like a personal call?
well, we're dealing with he's one of my constituents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, anyhow, so the appraisal,
Well, and
Continue.
weren't there some errors on the facts of the house
Yeah.
as well? Like she didn't have enough bedrooms. or
didn't have
bathrooms
enough
on-
rooms in the house, didn't have enough full bathrooms. So there were some real technical errors. So it goes back to a review process. The errors get pointed out to the appraiser. She has a chance to make the corrections, and hopefully we'll know by their next show whether or not the appraisal.
You mean you have to go to a board to figure that out?
I haven't had this blatant of mistake in an appraisal
Okay.
happen, so I'm not quite sure of the process.
Is that an out of town?
No,
appraiser?
Jackson County, because our purchase agreement requires it be a Jackson County appraisal.
Okay.
Another contingency would be contingent on financing.
Definitely, and that goes on anything that has a financing. Unless it's cash, is the only time you're not going to see that contingency.
And our purchase agreements, and in the board purchase agreements, contingency on financing it's all the way to closing.
Yeah, there's no cutoff in it.
But if you're working with Ann Arbor Realtor, whether that you're selling a listing whether you're selling a property that an Ann Arbor Realtor has listed, or they wrote the offer, usually you'll see that contingency removed sooner, like probably 2 weeks prior to closing.
Why is
Well,
that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a smart thing to do. I think, and we put that in this particular
Yeah.
one.
Yep, with the one with the appraisal issues.
Yeah, the one with the appraisal issue, we had that in our purchase agreement on that because that's an out of town lender, and I didn't want to I wanted to make sure it was going to close. In fact, our seller, one of the sellers, is packed and ready to move today, and it hasn't closed yet. So, who wants to have a seller move, and they're moving out? That one's moving out of town, and have a problem with their house closing. So, but the lender's doing a good job on that one. But the contingency on financing, so in our purchase agreements and the Jackson area purchase agreements, usually we've had people lose their job the day before closing and the deal falls through.
That makes sense.
Well, it's a
It's
bad thing.
unfortunate
Yeah.
for the seller, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate for the buyer because they don't get their new house.
But as long as everybody's communicated and understand what's going on, it doesn't make it any less tragic, but it makes it more understandable. And then probably the other contingency you want to make sure you have in a purchase agreement is in home inspection.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's just kind of automatic these days.
And our home inspections have been coming back pretty clean lately.
Yeah, a few items here and there. You know, GFI is always a big one. If the outlets aren't right,
What's GFI?
GFI is, I don't know what it stands for,
Yeah.
probably grounded
something.
something. But it's
outlet.
the outlet that's with, if you've got a plug within 3 feet of a water source, it has to be a GFI so that it will pop
Oh, okay.
if
Yeah.
water hits it, or hits whatever it's plugged into.
Yeah, and you know, I just saw on a purchase agreement I'm working on right now that it's something unusual. It's a foreclosure, and the buyer wrote they asked for seller's concessions back, which is where the seller pays for part of the buyer's closing costs. And the bank that owns the property countered back and did half of what the seller or what the buyer asked for with concessions, and then offered to pay for repairs on the house prior to closing. And that's unusual because mostly banks won't pay for those repairs. And this particular buyer is using an FHA loan, so the bank was smart enough to look at that and say, you know, they're probably going to need repairs. We'll take care of that for them, which is good.
Do you know who that lender is? Probably not.
Who, the bank that owns the house?
Yeah.
It's Bank of America, actually.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I was shocked.
They're not my favorite people right now. The local Bank of America people are probably awesome, but
Yeah.
that's not who you deal with. Unfortunately. But yeah, we haven't seen too many problems with home inspections. However, when I'm with my buyers and talking about a home inspection, I make sure they know that the inspector's not there to purposely find problems with the house. In other words, trying to get, let's find something wrong so we can get the price lowered.
Right.
Counter back. The inspection is done to educate the buyer about the house, so they know what they're buying.
Right.
Sometimes it's, there are things that are wrong that are just going to be typical of the age of the house. So, on that one that you're doing, that Jackie's doing, that's a foreclosure in the city of
Yeah.
Jackson, and so. And the house has been vacant, I think, since April of 2011, from somewhere about there. The water hasn't been on. So the city is going to require that they inspect the house before they turn the water on. So we had the city go out, look at the house, do whatever they do, and tell us whether or not the water is going to be able to be turned on, because the last thing you want to do is these particular people will need to move right in, and it is a house that you should be able to do.
What's the fear there, that some plumbing was taken? Or?
Yeah, or that right permits weren't done, and hold on, I have a text, and I can't talk and read, and I can't. Oh,
Well, you must talk.
the text is telling me that GFI stands for ground fault interrupter.
Oh, who knew?
And that came from my cleaning people.
Very good.
The best cleaning people in the world.
They must be if they listen to the show.
Anyhow, where were we? Oh, so the city, so they just, I don't know if they're checking for a permit. I don't know exactly what they're checking. They didn't go inside the house.
Well,
They just walked around the outside.
why
And
would
then
they go
they-
inside the house?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's on my list of things to talk to Pat about.
Yeah, I guess I assumed they had gone in the house.
They just walked around. Something they can tell by looking from the outside that it'll be okay to turn the water on.
Really? What would that be? I just,
Save that question for when you have Pat on the show.
okay.
Or we'll pass it on to Mark if Mark has it. But, so I'm told that, yeah, they'll turn the water on so my client won't have any problems.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have to have it turned on for inspections anyways.
Yeah, I think so.
So, and the city's usually very cooperative on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, the city's been great about all the ones I've had to do, where they come out in the morning and then they turn it on and they leave it on for the day and they turn it off at night. So.
Well, yeah, your mom's a councilwoman.
No.
Even before that.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I know who to yell at, but I.
No, voice of the people out of place. Jeez.
That's funny.
You just can't take a joke.
Oh gosh. So anyhow, we talked about that one house that had multiple offers. That had the appraisal problem. Multiple offers are becoming quite common.
Because We've seen them a lot in foreclosures over the last year to year and a half because the banks are putting them on the market at such reasonable prices. But now we're starting to see them on traditional houses as well. So
Okay. Well, so a lot of people are worried they're going to spend more than they have to on a multiple offer situation. It's kind of like an auction.
Well, that's nothing new, is it? Multiple offers?
Well, multiple offers are new
they're
Lately?
lately
yeah.
on
Okay.
normal houses. On foreclosures, you would see it. They're
Yeah.
not, that's nothing new on foreclosures. But on normal homes, because we have a deficiency of good quality homes on the market, we are seeing multiple offers on those that are. And people,
Well, that makes
if you're
sense,
moving
yeah.
here,
Well, Bill was here. Bill's back, by the way. He
Bill
was
Joyce.
here,
oh, Bill George. Okay, I'm
Bill
thinking,
George.
no, he's not. This is Jackie.
and he said,
So you can't read and talk either.
I can't read and talk either.
Is
There-
that
there
a
w-
text that has to do with the radio show?
No.
Oh, okay. You know, Justin.
Now I
Bieber,
lost my train of
I
thought.
know Justin Bieber
There's-
was getting interviewed, and he got texted while he was being interviewed.
Ah,
You're just like Justin Bieber.
oh lordy.
I got better hair than he does.
Anyhow,
There weren't the quality houses between 150 and 300,000.
is that what Bill's saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
So he said check with Laura on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say between 120 and up
Uh huh.
is really
yeah. Even the
scarce right now.
115.
Yeah.
Or we're splitting hairs, I guess, by 5,000.
Yeah.
But no pun intended. But anyhow, yeah, it's just there's a good chunk of 80,000, I think, and below that are in decent condition.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's the other end of the spectrum where they need a ton of work. And those that need a ton of work just aren't going to sell as quickly because most people don't have the time or the energy or the money to update them. However, I don't know, ask Bill George, when's he on, Tuesdays?
Yes.
Ask him if they're doing 203Ks.
I will write that down.
Because FHA 203Ks. Because I think that will be the solution for
Yeah, for a
those
lot of
homes.
Do you have any showings coming up?
We have an open house on Sunday. Really cool house.
Really cool house.
Very cool house.
I'm excited to go sit on the deck and for this open house.
Yeah, 4900 Oak Point, and it's on the channel to Wolf Lake.
Okay.
And it has this amazing covered porch. Probably the nicest covered porch I have ever seen on a home.
Is it on the lake or?
It's on the channel, and
Okay.
that part of the channel, apparently, it's towards the end of the channel, and it's sandy, and you can swim there, and so it's kind of the best of all worlds. You feel like you're in the middle of the country. It's a great property. 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, or
Three bathrooms, one on each. No, 4 bathrooms.
4
right?
bathrooms. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a very cool house. Price is $349, $329, and then there's an extra lot, so you can get the whole thing for $365 or something like that. It is just a very cool house. So come look at that. And then we have a price reduction at 416 Adams. It's down to $19,500. That's a cute 2-bedroom, 1 bath right in the city.
Needs work.
No, actually, you could move in. The kitchen it's an old cupboard kitchen, but you could move right in. It's very clean, new furnace, new water heater. There's not much you have to do.
Wow.
For $19,500, that's between Lansing and Blackstone on Adams. And then we have a new house at 353 Prairie. That is over there off Oak Hill, and it's kind of a very private part of that Oak Hill, right by Aloe Sharp Park.
Dead End Street. There's only one other house on that end of the Dead End Street.
And it's a
so-
huge lot, wooded, 79.9, 4 bedrooms,
Lot
2
of
full
deer.
baths, a
Lot
lot
of
of
deer
deer,
over there.
brick house or stone house. It's just that's a nice ranch in a very private area, very close to everything. So we've got some good stuff. We
Yeah.
just need more. So if somebody wants to talk to me about listing their home and getting it sold for them, they should call me at 780-3800. You can always email me, Laura, Laura, at 780-3800.com. Or you can go to our website. We'll stay on the same thing, 780-3800.com. is a website, one of our websites.
Right. Or Thinking Real Estate.
Or thinkingrealestate.com.
.com. See you next week.
Ciao.
Essential